So 2 weeks ago, or maybe it's 2.5 weeks ago, I go to Vegas and I go golfing with my buddy. And we go to this dope course called Shadow Creek, which was dope. Michael Jordan has a locker there. Bryce Harper has a locker there. Incredible. But the next day, and this is what's freaking crazy about this world, the next day we golfed at the Wynn. By the way, this is like, talking like $700 a round plus a $200 caddy tip. You're like talking about $1,000 a round, right? Some crazy shit. Anyway, I go and we go golfing at the Wynn, and it's just me and him. And what they do at these high-end courses, for those of you that aren't golfers and probably don't give a shit, but I'm going to tell you anyway, is included in the price of your green fees, you have a caddy that comes with you. They make you take a caddy. They probably don't want you screwing up the course, but they also want you to have the experience. So we get out there and we're like seconds early. Like we don't warm up, we don't do anything, because the night before was crazy. So we get out there and lo and behold, they're like, yo, we actually paired you up with this other couple. And I'm like, kind of annoyed. I'm like, great. Like the Wynn's being cheap. They're giving us a caddy to share. Well, we start playing. And by the way, this person that we're playing with is freaking unreal. Anyway, dude ended up being really cool. And about halfway through the round, by about hole 9, I could tell this dude, like, first of all, he was really good at golf. But second of all, he had his shit together. Like you could just tell things he was saying, this the way he held himself. And I was like, I just started talking to him a little bit. I'm like, so what do you do? And he starts telling me, and I find out that this guy is doing $1.5 million per month. What do you know? Guess what I had written down right here? Who do I know making $1 million a month on their business? Well, now I know 2 people. He said, I'm making 1.5 on my business. I'm like, okay. That's interesting because I'm kind of looking for people like you. I didn't tell him that. So anyway, now I'm really interested. The last 9 holes, I was like way more interested than the first 9 holes. Cause I'm like, dude, this, like, how do I get some nuggets out of this guy without bugging him? Anyway, tells me his name. I'm like, oh shit, I know who you are. I've heard whatever, this podcast or this YouTube, whatever. I knew who this guy was. And I was like, oh, I know who you are. So we connected. A couple days later, we jumped on a phone call and I told him, I said, hey, I just want to share like what I do. I want to share where I'm at. And I want to ask you, if you don't mind, and I'm happy to pay you, by the way, like, what would you do? Like, what are some recommendations you give me? By the way, just so you guys have an idea, this guy owns a company that Alex Hermosi, which all of us know, he owns part of his company. So like Alex Hermosi has this company called acquisition.com. He owns a portfolio of companies. He invests in companies. And this guy that I was playing golf with is one of the companies that Alex Hermosi is a part owner in. So I'm like, that's also interesting. So I just said to him, I'm like, bro, like, what would you do? And I kind of told him, and this is the advice that he gave me. So and I want to share it with you because it was something I'd heard 1,000 times, and I'm sure you've heard it multiple times, but I'm going to share it with you and I'm going to ask you to do it because I've been doing it. He said a bunch of things to me. And I, as soon as we got off the call, I opened up Evernote and I jotted down like 30 minutes of notes. I'm like, dude, he said this and he said this and he said this and all these different things. But first thing that he said to me is like, dude, you got to realize that first of all, if you're going to get to these levels, he's like, there are specific things within your business that are making you all the money. And by the way, I want you to think about this in your business, not just mine. In your business right now, there are specific things that you are doing that are driving all the revenue. Remember those needle moving activities we talked about? By the way, we have a live in the group called Effective versus Efficient. If you guys want to watch that, that's what we talked about. So essentially what he was saying is like, there's things that move the needle, that really move the needle, and everything else needs to fuck off, basically. And he's like, the thing you need to do is you need to figure out, and it's funny because it's the same advice that I gave you guys, but this is just another level, right? He's like, you need to figure out like where you're spending your time. And you're going to realize when you find out, there are a couple of things that are making you all of the money. And you need to basically figure out what those are and do more of that. Fuck everything else. Outsource it, delegate it, put people in place, and not just bullshit people, like good people. So he said something that I have literally done before, but I haven't done it in a while. And coming from him, it really made me want to do it because I know what he does. So he said, this is going to be annoying as hell, but for the next 2 weeks, I want you to track every minute of time that you spend. Every single minute for the next 2 weeks. And you're going to find out by doing that how much of your time you're spending on those things and how much time you're spending on other shit. And you need to figure out how to get rid of everything else and just spend your time doing those things. And so guess what, guys? You know what I've been doing for the last however long? That. From the moment I wake up, I've been tracking where every single minute of my time is going. And guess what? It only took me about a day, and I can already tell you the problem. I can already tell you what, if I went down and I sat down with him, I can already tell you what he'd say. Like, I don't need to sit down with him for him to tell me like, dude, you're wasting a lot of fucking time. Why am I sharing this? Well, guys, I'm at a specific level. You guys are at a specific level. And I keep saying, and I keep asking myself, like, what's it going to take? When is enough enough? When am I going to stop talking about getting to $1 million a month and just do it? What are those things that I need to start doing? What are those things I need to stop doing? Well, guess what? I'm finding out really fucking quick what those things are. And I'm sharing that because I'm doing the same thing in my business. I'm trying to figure out, and even though I'm not at a point where it's being broke or paying the bills, it's a different level. I'm talking about a couple $100,000 a month versus $1 million a month. I'm asking myself the same question. Nick, when is enough a fucking enough? Like, when are you going to quit talking about it and just do it? So guys, I want to share that with you because this isn't me talking down on you. This is me going through the exact same thing, having the exact same conversation, doing the exact same exercises on a different level, at a different number. That's it. It's just math. I'm trying to figure out what it's going to take for me and what are the things that are stopping me from getting to $1 million a month. What are the things that I'm doing? What are the things I need to stop doing to get to that $1 million a month?